why this team is going to be more successful than last year?
I think when you pitch, you win, and we pitched well. We set all kinds of marks last year in terms of our productivity pitching with our rotation and our bullpen, but our offense was subpar, no question about it. We think our pitching is stronger this year, and our offense is improving. There's more talent in our lineup now. It's a deeper lineup, and I think there's been a concerted effort and focus offensively on doing those little things, the little things that probably hurt us with those 89 1- and 2-run games last year, that I think will make the difference for us this year.
Can you update us on Jose, where he's at? Did you see him through spring and from last year, obviously? Just give us a progress report.
I would probably put him in the same boat as Evaldi and Alvarez and Turner, that they've made tremendous strides with the lessons that they learned last year, and just becoming better pitchers and better ability to navigate lineups, work deeper in the games, sharpening their secondary stuff, and those are just things that are going to allow them to go deeper into ball games.
Y'all started off 14 and 41 last year, April, May.
Don't remind me, it's a new year, Clark.
Without, big chunk of your rotation that you have now, Alvarez, Evaldi, and Turner. How significant a difference do you think that'll make, and how important is it to get off to a better start?
Well, on top of losing 3/5 of the rotation, Giancarlo was on the DL also, and for those first 2 months we had our middle of the lineup from Jacksonville was hitting 3 and 4 in our big league lineup. So, that obviously it was not drawn up that way, and I think there was a concerted effort to just bring more depth and bring more offensive options to the club, to give Red more options to lengthen our lineup so that you can absorb the inevitable. Things are going to happen during the course of 162 games, and you have to be able to navigate it. And the games are going to be played. You're going to have to show up and play. And so we really made a concerted effort to bring in more talent, to have more depth, to hopefully absorb whatever will be thrown our way.
What's this offseason been like for you as the president of baseball ops, putting your imprint on some, bringing 4 new position players as starters? What's it been like this for you?
A blur, truthfully. I think we really had to step back and look at our strengths and look at where we've fallen short in the past. And I've mentioned to a lot of you guys already that in the past, when we've had young rosters, we've just rolled with those young rosters, and we've let young teams sort of sink or swim together. And I think that was a valuable learning lesson for me, just because you need veterans sometimes. You need experience. You need guys who've been through it that can help lead young guys and show them the way to overcome adversity. We know that something's going to happen over the course of the season. It's inevitable. Something's going to happen, and how you respond to it, how you deal with that will affect the outcome of your season. And so it was really a philosophical change for us this offseason, where we felt like we had a good core of talented young players in the Yelich's and Stantons and Echeverrias, Ozunas, Marisniks, Fernandez, Evaldi, and we really wanted to give them support. And most of the support was offensive, because we saw what our lineup looked like without Giancarlo in the middle of it. So we went out to give him support, to bring in a Garrett Jones, to bring in Casey McKee, a Jeff Baker, to give those guys the support so that it's not on one man's shoulders to carry the load. Help spread the load out. And these guys probably weren't the sexiest signings, but we felt like we were getting consistent, experienced veterans at the major league level, and guys who do have some track record that whatever happens in their season, that they're going to give you production, and hopefully that'll allow us to weather whatever storm we face.
What's the biggest question mark about this team in your mind when it's made up?
I don't really enter into years with question marks. I think we do all our off season. If there was a question mark, we were hopeful to address it in the off season. So I'm hopeful that we did that, and now it's time to play. We've had a great spring training. The work's been outstanding. The attitude, the energy level, the enthusiasm has all been outstanding, and the guys are ready to go. I think when we reported to Jupiter, we were ready to set the tone from day one on what we wanted to accomplish and how we wanted to play, and how we wanted to approach the game day in and day out. So as we start today, we're excited, we're prepared, and we're ready to go. And the season will unfold how it unfolds, and it'll be up to Red and DJ and our staff to deal with whatever's thrown our way. But as we start today, we're excited, we're ready to go.
In your mind, how far away are you all from contending?
What time's the first pitch? No, I mean, that's our goal. I mean, I know, I actually like it when people don't pick us. I like flying under the radar because I know the 25 guys in that clubhouse believe in one another, believe in the talent in that clubhouse, and anything can happen when you have good pitching and you get timely hitting, and that's our expectation.
Mike, when asked this spring, Red said a win's a win, whether it's spring training or the regular season, and there's something to be said for that. How much stock do you put into that? A very productive spring training. You stayed relatively health-free. You won a lot of ball games as well.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it's a mindset. You win games and you're a winner, and that was the mindset. No matter what the situation was, when we stepped between those white lines, our goal is to win ball games, and that's an expectation. That's a belief, and from day one, that was the belief in that clubhouse, and we met earlier today, and that belief hasn't changed. Our ERA in spring training was not an accident. Offensively, how we scored runs in spring training was not an accident. It was a lot of hard work and preparation, and it was just setting the tone for bigger and better things for the upcoming season.
Mike, I know the focus is on opening day, but it's a chance to speak to you and have your wristband and ask it when you see a second-year player get $144 million, another guy get nearly $300. I mean, is anything surprising now as far as the plateaus of these salaries, where they're going?
No, I mean, it's the market, it's what it is, and we have to operate within that. It's very good players who were awarded those contracts, and Trout and Miggy. I mean, we know them both very well, and it's just the nature of the industry we work in. And I don't think you step back, you take notice of them, because obviously they may affect how you operate moving forward. But it is what it is, and we'll continue to follow it and see where things go with it.
Mike, can you take us through for Kyle's expected progression and best case scenario for his return?
We haven't really put a definitive timeline on him and his return to play. Obviously, he knows his body as well as anyone. But when we ended spring training, he played in minor league games that Wednesday. We were on the road, got information back we were in Detroit, I guess. When we got back from Detroit, he said he still felt a little bit. So once we got that information, we had pretty much already decided we were going to just give him time to make sure he was as close to 100% as he possibly could be. So once there's no feeling at all from the hamstring, we'll start to ramp him back up and get him in the games. And when he's ready to go, you'll see him back out there.
You wouldn't think that's this weekend, though, or that early date?
No, we're not looking at this short-sighted. I mean, this is a player who missed all last year, so we want to make sure that beyond health, that he gets the rhythm and the timing and the at-bats, through extended spring training and rehab, to make sure he's prepared, so that when he steps into the lineup again, it's for the rest of the season, and we don't have any nagging recurrences of injury.
You said he was hopeful maybe, when you guys get back from the first road trip, that would be a good day then.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but we haven't put anything definitive in terms of the return of that date.
Mike wanted to ask you about a couple of your young guys who are not here for opening day. With Carter Capps, when you made the trade, did you sort of assume he'd be on your opening day roster, or was that not a certainty in your mind, and things he has to do better to get back to the major league level?
No assumptions were made. We love the arm, but I think when we made the trade, I think I told you guys there were some mechanical things that we identified that we were working on with him, and we saw progress with it. We just weren't all the way there with mechanical fixes. And so he knows what the plan is for him. To continue to work on his mechanics to get him back to where we feel he'll be a productive back end reliever for us. So from that standpoint, we knew what we were getting into when we made the trade.
Great. I was going to ask you about Jake as well. Of course, our perception always has been a very skilled guy defensively, the center, bat maybe not as advanced. Has the organization's perception changed with what he did offensively in the spring, or was it too small a sample size to form any conclusions about what type of hitter he could be?
I think our minds definitely, I don't know if they changed, but he got better. And the thing that we always, with all of our young players, you're trying to polish, whatever their areas of improvements are. And with him, there were some offensive areas that needed to be tightened up as it pertains to his swing and his approach. And he made tremendous strides in spring training. I think that's probably the biggest reason why we didn't keep him on the club, was because he hadn't gotten all the way there. So similar to Capps, he knows what he needs to work on and continue working on that. And as soon as he closes those remaining areas up and is ready to be a consistent producer, I think you'll see him back in the big league.
Is that good to have two potential center field options, with Ozuna and him, long term?
It's good. It was a good feeling. As tough as all the decisions were in the spring, it was good to know that we had major league caliber depth that we were sending to AAA. As hard as the Solano conversation was, you see how important it is to have that depth, because he wasn't even optioned for 2 hours, and then Lucas breaks his hand. So it's nice to be able to reach down and be able to get a major league capable player who you know what you're going to get, who Red knows what he's going to get. When you're talking about a Marisky going back, and if it was Solano, if it's some of the relievers who have very good springs, the Camaneros, the Capses, the Chris Hatcher, who had a very good spring training. It's a nice feeling for all of us to know that when the need arises, that we can reach down and fill a need, and you haven't lost a lot.
Michael, how much the conversation on winning? I mean, obviously last year was a little more developing, but how much is that being driven in? How much was that mentioned, internally?
I mean, we say winning, but it's still playing the game the right way and playing championship caliber baseball, from all parts and all sides of the game, be it offensively in your approach and situational hitting, be it defensively with 27 outs or more from a pitching standpoint and pounding the strike zone. I think more so than saying winning, it's how do you win, and the components that go into winning, and that's where the work comes in, and that's where the knowledge that we have with our major league coaches, our minor league coaches, that's where their expertise helps our young guys get over the hump. And it's not so much speaking about winning, it's just about raising the level of expectation of what is acceptable to be a big leaguer and to win championships.
So that's what's kind of been said in meetings and stuff, yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Of what you need to do on a daily basis to make yourself better, to help your team win games. ¿Algo en español?